All right, good morning traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar with live analysis, order flow
Good morning,
analysis.
traders, and
This is Bruce at Bookmap. We do this webinar every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. On Wednesday, we have Jay Trader, a stocks trader. Thursday, we have Scott. So I've been the Bookmap lead here for about 8 years. I've been trading for about 15, 16 years. I'm the order flow specialist here, and you can reach out to me at Bookmap, Bruce at Bookmap, or on our Discord channel, and then at Order Flow, at Flow Order on Twitter. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. Let's take a look at these markets. I want to take a review first of what's happening here. We're looking at the S&P E-mini. We can look at any markets you guys want to. Good morning, Tony. Aloha. And but let's review yesterday, Monday, and what we saw. And we'll look at the higher time frame here. And what we covered was last week we had a breakout. This is the weekly chart over here on the right hand side. Then we have the hourly in the middle here and the 15-minute on the right hand side. So I'm sorry, left hand side here, we have the weekly. This is bullish, there's no question about it. Strong week, strong bar, and it closed up here. Okay, we covered all of this yesterday. We're still looking for it to go higher here. We were also looking for a potential pullback in here. On the hourly, what we saw yesterday was this in here. And this move on up, and this was during our webinar, these hours in here on the move up. And it was kind of challenging. It was like, well, you know, it's back and forth in here in the order flow, and we got some clarity in some pictures, but others we did not. Well, this is why, right? You can see the move down now, pretty sharp move down. We were looking for originally, it was this wick here on this little candle here, and this move down to retest this zone down here. We did get that, and then we got the move back up, and then the failure and the move down. Now, this makes good sense. We are still bullish in here, but you know, it makes good sense why we're looking for that kind of pullback in here. We're getting up into these areas where we have a wick up here. We have the figure of 4,300. We just climbed above it for a little bit, and then right back down. So a lot of profit taking, maybe a lot of sellers. This is where the sellers came in last August of 2022. So there's reasons for it after this strong move to look for a potential pullback. Let's look at the daily in here. Now, and why we're going to cover this in detail here on the candlesticks is because expectations, let's get them aligned in here so that we have our bigger picture approach. Then we'll look at order flow in Bookmap, and we can look at all time frames at that point. But we want this bigger picture approach. This is the guidelines here, right? And whatever time frame you're trading, you know, they're going to go over the bigger picture first, and then we'll drill down. And look at the moves in here. ATR, okay, average, or in this case, ADR, average daily range move. Look at the move on, this was Friday, right? Well, that's a pretty big move and a solid green bar. It kind of averages some of these areas in here, okay? This is another reason why we would start to consider to look for a slowdown and a potential pullback in these areas. We're still bullish until we see something different, but we would start to anticipate that. And why is that? And why does ADR or ATR work? Okay, we're going to talk about ranges today and trends, and why the ATR works is because there's only so much, typically there's only so much buying and selling pressure the market has for a move, right? Or ways to explore a certain area. And it just bounces around back in there. If there are more participants or even less participants and lots of activity or interest, with those fewer participants, we're going to get more volatility and more price action. So this is what every market's different. Every market's going to behave differently due to the participants within them. Okay, this is exactly what we mean or cover in order flow. And to understand that principle, understanding ATR or average true range or average daily range makes sense, right? You may get extended bars, etc., but that's okay. We're just looking for kind of anticipating an average, and we're looking at statistics or probabilities in this case, and this is a good way to start to map your day. Anyway, we have that this move to the upside, and then we would anticipate that pullback, and we did get it. Now this pullback's actually been quite weak, so the markets are pretty strong still. Look at the pullback here on this daily. This is it so far. Well, maybe that'll change. Maybe it'll come back down and fill the gap here. We don't know. We're going to read the market and the participants here on the 15-minute and also in Bookmap to understand where it might go when we start to drill down. All right. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to cover this and start to understand that this is a breakout. It is bullish on the weekly chart. And then today, though, we are basically in a range here. We've kind of peaked below yesterday's low for a bit, but we're back up into the range now. We found some buyers right below it here. Okay, so we are back in the range here. Right, so we'll need to see maybe a break of let's see here, what was it, somewhere around here. This was 73, 74. Yeah, it's this line here, right? So the 72.5 area. So this is the break below, and then we can see the buyers coming in. Right, so same on the hourly here. The hourly is not really telling me too much. I'm getting a lot more out of this 15-minute chart. You can see the buying wicks here, the move back down below yesterday's low, and the move back in, and pretty strong buying coming in now. Okay, so what will we look for here? What do you guys think? Now look at the average bars in here too. We might get a little bit of a pullback here, but this is pretty strong momentum, and I would look for it to test up into these wicks up in here. This looks like a good area right here, 42.86, somewhere around there, 84 to 86, right? That would be just by looking at this strong buying coming in here, and we know it's strong just by the price action. Okay, we can see it's a big green candle and it's moving on some strength here. So we're missing it over in Bookmap. Let's jump over to Bookmap, and here is that strength. Here is that volume. Okay, so we're looking for it to continue. We're looking for 85 and what was it? 84 to 86 is what we said. What's the swing up here? 86.5. All right. So yeah, our 86.5. We don't see a lot of liquidity there. They're actually up a little bit higher at 88. And this is an area we were talking about yesterday. So let's mark it up. Okay, let's input a horizontal line there, and then our 84 we're at right now. Okay, all right, and let's talk about this move here. No question about it. Look at the volume in here. Okay. And look at this strong move, and look at the volume behind it. Look at the bars. Now we're looking at volume delta in here. Good morning, Abby. Good morning, Deborah. And this is a strong, powerful move with a lot of buying volume behind it. This is what we look for. We're looking for this to continue. Right now, we're starting to run into a block of resistance here, just starting to come in here. Okay, so at 84, you can start to see that high liquidity coming in here. It is transacting. And this is where Bookmap really shines. It gives you this insight. We looked for this and anticipated this potential slowdown up to here, 84 to 86, right? We covered it before we jumped over to Bookmap. Well, this is our zone here. And let's mark it up. Okay, so here's our 84. Hold on a minute. Okay. Here's our 84 to 86. All right. That's where we're looking for potential test and then a potential slowdown there. Right. Maybe 88. I like that 88. I know we were looking at 88 yesterday. Okay. So now let's just review what we covered here. Strong move. And we can talk about ATR. Now, if you like ATR, you can also come to the webinar with Scott Pulcini on Thursdays. He talks a lot about ATR. Let's just mark up an ATR here. So look at this breakout move here. Strong move, no question about it. All right, well, let's start to match that up with other zones and areas here. Okay, does it really match down here? Kind of. It's not quite the same. It's maybe a point higher. See how we have the low here, and then it came back up to above this swing here. Okay, but it matches up pretty nicely with this move here. And what about any higher here? Yeah, it kind of matches with this move in here too, right? So this makes sense that there's, again, why? Why is this? For you that are looking at the market internals and looking at the tick chart, then you start to understand that there's only so much pressure that can come in and the market can handle at once. There's only so many participants. So we look for, that's one of the reasons why we look for measured moves, okay, and anticipate some of those areas to work. Now, measured moves don't, we can lean on that a bit if those participants are acting in a specific way, that we are looking for. That ATR can get blown out very easily when there is a lot of volatility, some sort of event. Why is that? Okay, we've seen it here in Bookmap. We can even see it here. We can kind of mimic it here at 9:30 cash open. Look how different the liquidity is. It looks even better on stocks. Look how different the liquidity is at 9:30. Okay, and then before 9:30 and then after 9:30. Okay? It's like night and day. Okay, so it's just actually a little bit after here. Now we're a little bit different in Apple since we're at all-time highs here. But typically we'll look at Tesla. Same thing. Doesn't matter. The stocks are very much in line here. Look, 7 o'clock, and then here's our 9:30. Okay, boom. Look at that. This is where a lot of players came into the market. There's no question about that. Right. So now there should be more volatility on the overnight in essence, because it doesn't take too much volume to move price. So if there is some sort of news event or event when even like during non-farm, during market hours, or I'm sorry, FOMC during market hours, you'll see that liquidity dry up and it becomes dark in an area. So understanding that, you start to understand that, okay, my ATR, my anticipated move here is going to be a little different. All right. Good morning, Tom Gunn. So it's really important to kind of put these expectations together. All right. Now we're going to look at And this is where we'll kind of bring it all together here, is that when we start to understand moves in Bookmap, we can align our ATR with liquidity in the heat map. This is beautiful here. It traded right up into our range, okay, and there's high liquidity there. Now we have something. Deborah, this is for you. This is where you can start to look, very closely in here for potential reversal, even in confronting all of this volume here. All right, but it depends on how you want to do it. I have been run over so many times that it'll go directly up to 88, right? Up to 86, up to 88. It'll be an extended ATR move. Okay, and therefore I'm going to look at the order flow in here. I'm going to wait for the sellers to come in and tell me that they're coming in. But when we're talking about these ranges, well, here it is, and it played out pretty nicely. It went above 84, went up to like 85 here, and then it turned around. Right, and there's high liquidity there though, and look at the transactions into that high liquidity and look for the sellers to come back in. All right, so now what has happened? Well, we've made this ATR here, came up to this range, top of the range here, is pulled back here, and now we're going to talk about measured moves. Right, so let's take our ATR again. Let's go from here up to 85. All right, and now let's make another rectangle. And let's move that one. Okay, so now we're going to look at the moves in here, and I'm gonna make these a lot smaller here. I'm not trying to outline anything more than just the ATR, the move, right? Okay, usually we use the rectangle to show something within it. Okay, so these are the moves we would anticipate. Now let's look at the volume and the heat map within this range here, from here 78 on up to 85. All right, look at the volume here. Look at the dots. Pretty good, pretty strong. Not bad though, pretty strong on the sell side. Okay, now the this is gonna, it looks to me like we're gonna get some back and forth in here. However, we did make a higher low here, and I am looking for a higher high here. Now my anticipation for this higher high is not much. Okay, so if you look for, again, so Deborah, you could be looking in these areas in here for a bit of an order flow event in the microstructure to give you insight to the move here, and then you can jump in for these. Now these are things you need to put into your trading plan so that you have something here. This can be your trading plan. Okay, so look for this move in here, just like we covered. Okay, and then you can look at some of these areas in here, okay, for when this might start to turn around. Right, so you can see smaller moves in here as well. Here's a smaller ATR. Here's a smaller ATR. Now we can't get buyers up in here. We start to exhaust out. Buying here, but cannot even make the high here in any of these areas up here. I would start to look for sellers in here. Now I wouldn't have gotten in until probably pretty late down here, and I don't like that. I mean, like it's already moved here, but I know I can see the sellers in here, but we're already right into this area in here. Okay, now the sellers followed through. Okay, so we can look for a pullback though, like this in some of those areas, and it's even kind of a little challenging on a pullback because the buying's not so bad in here, but there is more selling than there is buying here. All right, so we've got to take risk at some point. Where do you want to take it? This is, a big question, or do you want to take it at all, right? Is it clear enough for you? Do you have the order book on your side? Do you have the volume on your side that gives you that kind of clarity? This is not the easiest in here. I don't see the cleanest and clearest is with the sell volume here, and that would you'd be putting on some risk looking for that. Anyway, let's just be honest and clear in here, and start to understand these moves in here. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, well, we're still looking for this to break the highs. Okay, it came back, retested almost 100% move, and then now we're up at these highs in here, and we still see buying in here though, right? Okay, so this is again another pullback here, and let's see if they buy off of this little area here. We're looking for traders to start to buy. And where might they start to buy? Well, we can look at this little kind of zone in here for a pullback. Okay, we've got delta here. Now it did make a lower high here. I don't like that. I would have liked to have seen equal or a little bit higher. Okay, but we'd made a higher low here though too. Structure matters in here, even one tick. Okay, so I do see sellers coming in, right? And we're down at our level in here. Now, this is again, Deborah, this is to you. Is it worth it? Do you want to take a pot shot at this? Maybe, but just know that you don't have confirmation yet. This is just like, well, I'm waiting for that confirmation to unfold. And do you want to trade like that? Okay, that's up to you. And just note that in here you can get really run over. Now, if you catch it though, boy, you have a great entry. All right, now here's a double bottom, selling, lack of selling, but do we have buyers up here yet? Not yet. Yeah, that's the confirmation we're looking for, is buyers up here at 83. All right, here we go. We got the order book a little bit on our side. All right, now let's see if these buyers can take it back up to 84 and a half, 85 here. See, Deborah, you would have gotten in here. I mean, if you want to play with this idea of these ranges in here and then wait for your confirmation. But see how this trade here, see how this didn't even go against you a tick, because we waited for confirmation, right? Okay, now top of the range here. Do you want to take some off or not? You might get a pullback right back down to where this initiated here. Right? Do you want to give some of that back, or do you want to put some money in your pocket? It might be less than if you wait. Okay. Now, how to ascertain that in here? Well, we're getting our answer right now. We're getting buyers coming in. Now, this is what we want to see up here. So I would hold. Okay. I would hold and look for the buyers to try to pop through up into well, at the top of our range, and we'd have low expectations here, 85 and a half. That's it. Okay, due to this kind of measured move in here. Now, again, one thing I want to reiterate again and again in here on these measured moves and expectations, etc. First off, this is not a trade recommendation, and this is the market. It is not a math problem. Okay, it's not some sort of equation here. This is the participants of lots of other traders and actors in here. Who knows what they might do? Okay, so these are just concepts and ideas in here that may map out price structure for your trading. All right, so just keep that in mind in here, right? And then we'll look at the order flow in here to help us. Okay, so this looks good in here. I see, look at the cluster of buying in here. That's good, right? Now here comes our pullback here. Right? So now if I took profit up here, I'm looking pretty good and I'm pretty happy. At least I took one leg off. right? Now it's testing exactly where these buyers came in. Okay, is this a pullback? Is it can continue? Will it go to the bottom of the range? Will it come back down in here? We don't know, right? We can just go off of what we can learn from what's happening in here. Okay, and what is more likely or less likely. All right, buyers coming back in. Now, if we can get buyers back up here, now this is where it is more likely. What if we get buyers back up above here? This is what's been screwing me up. I made a video on that single mode there. Okay, so if we get here and we do get our buyers up here, now let's see if we can get our move back up into our just our 85.5, right? That's where we have our horizontal line here. Okay, but maybe it'll come up to 86. Maybe we'll get an extended move here. Maybe we'll get another range in here to look at. Maybe this will be it. Right? This is why these measured moves work. One of the reasons. Also has to do with a lot of stops. So maybe 87 looks pretty good too, right? Not bad. If it breaks out of this range, maybe it'll come up to 87. And these are just ideas. Just mapping it out in here. How much buying pressure we have to move that market before traders don't want to buy at a higher high. Now let me get to some questions in here. There you go, Malik. Now, so you look at your Camarilla floor trader pivot levels. Okay, great. And then now you're going to coincide that with Bookmap for potential reversals. Now this will enhance your edge. Perfect. That's it. That's what this is for. Okay. You have a way of trading, and now you're going to be able to maximize that way or optimize that way of trading by understanding the participants at your levels of interest. Great. Now the question that that most people kind of struggle with is like, why are they using the Camarilla levels to begin with, right? So that's another question. Like, have you proved that that's an edge? Do you have an edge there? That's the first question that needs to be answered. And if you do, then you believe in your price levels. Now you're looking at the participants at those price levels to give you insight. Okay, better enhanced insight. Okay, great stuff. All right, here we go again. I'm still looking for those buyers. Look at this. Okay, here's why. Is because we have here some trapped volume down at the bottom here. I want to see buyers back up above that area, and then the push. Okay. Now, what else do we look for in here? Okay, so that'll make this higher probability. Well, I want to see these guys get out of the way here. 85, 85 and 3/4, 86 and a quarter, 87. They're not. They're staying in the order book. Now, what about the bid? Is the bid showing more strength? A little bit here at 82, and then a little bit down here at like around the 81 area. It's not bad, but it's nothing really of that's very noteworthy here. And then what do the aggressors tell us about the order book in here? Well, they're not really telling us much either. We just know that there's some selling here, and we're looking for a potential stop run back up above it, which we did get some stops already triggered in here, as you can see with the red line here. So let's see if we can get it here though. Still looking for a better stop run above here. Here we go. All right, buyers, let's see you take these guys on. They're starting to get out of the way. You can see them pull some of that liquidity. Now let's see if the order book can bump up a bit. Finding our buyers. There we go. Still looking for higher here. Our horizontal lines at 85.5. That was just touched here. 243 contracts traded there. Still looking for more though out of this. Still looking for more. Okay, looking for our 86 and on up to 87. Okay, maybe 88. Right, but there it achieved your goal. Okay, but there's no reason yet to exit this. So continue to stay in. And again, now I hope you're not in this. These are just trade ideas and concepts, and understanding how to read Bookmap and apply this to your trading, just like Malik had outlined with his Camarilla levels. Okay, so you've been trading the Camarilla levels for about a year. Okay, and some profile as well. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good, just as long as it works for you. And you believe in it. You know you have an edge, basically. Tom, no, the MBO bundle that we created here, like with the stops and icebergs, Trader Map Pro, and also the Market Pulse, that is not available in the Thinkorswim version. All of these kinds of additional add-ons and other bells and whistles in here are only available in the Bookmap desktop version. They're not developing in that direction, and their data source is DXFeed for futures, which is not offering market by order data at this time. They probably will in the future. Excellent, thank you, Malik. Yeah, it does offer. I think it does offer a nice edge. So look, one of the things in here too is, again, meet your expectations, and know the risks that you're taking here, because this is where this gets really tricky, right? Do you take your profit up here, or do you wait for something like this to happen, and then maybe you take it in here, and you only made a little bit of money out of it, right? Or you gave 1.5 points away where you could have taken it up here, which was your original expectation. Okay, so do you do that? Or because of this strong volume in here, you're just looking for a pullback and extension. Or maybe you're still in it, right? It hasn't made a lower low yet. It's making lower highs, but looks like the sellers may come in here and drive it down to 82, 81. Okay, if they can kind of build out this edge down here at 83, then we can get this quick move down into 82, 81.5. Anyway, so yeah, these are questions that need to be answered. Now, the simple answer is here for Deborah. Deborah, take your profits at these levels. And again, I don't mean, I'm sorry to sound dictatorial in essence, but that's not my goal here. It's just to be clear. We're only looking for something to happen here. If it does it, great. Look for the next one. Okay. Now, if this was a really, really bullish day in here, then yeah, well, then take your profits, build confidence. And if this went from here And believe me, I mean, it'll do everything, and it will mess with your emotions like beyond belief. You'll get this move, and then it'll come up into like 90, something like that. And you'll get like another huge, strong move like this, but up above here, it'll come up into like 95 or maybe even 4,300, and then you're like kicking yourself. Oh, God, I just gave all that away. But no, this is what we were looking for, and it did it. Look for the next opportunity, right? One of the good things about behaving with those expectations and following a plan like this is it will build your confidence. Okay, and you will also be much clearer. See how this would, if you're still in this here, you're just killing yourself, right? We were looking for this now at this point. Actually, here I thought it would do it. It went back and forth a bit, and then finally we got the move down in this 81.5. And maybe you had your stop down there. Maybe it did this, and then watch this. Maybe buyers come in hand over fist, as we've seen many times in the past, and they move that market back up in that original move after you're stopped out. How can this not play with your emotions? So, well, an answer to that would be take your profit and just be fine with that. All in, all out, look for the next one. Build your confidence. Once you build your confidence, you can do all sorts of other things in here. It's your trade management. You can take one leg off. You can hold. You can add to your pullback. You can move your stop up. You can extend your take profits, whatever it might be, right? Scott covers this pretty well. His webinar on Thursday. I like his style on the different trades. He says, okay, I'm looking for this and this trade opportunity here, only looks for that. And then if another opportunity presents, it is treated as a separate trade. However, what he'll do is if he's still in that other trade because there was no reason for him to get out, right? So maybe he has two separate trades on in the S&P E-mini, and then he'll move his stop up though from that second trade idea to he'll move his stop up from the first trade to the level of the second trade. Right, so he's just moving his stop up, and that's it. Okay, which makes good sense to me, and that way he can reduce risk and still look for his trade idea to work out. Nicola, sometimes all in, all out, depends. One way to look at that is that might help with your trading decisions is like how strongly is a market trending. Okay, what are your anticipations for a strong trending market? Okay, are we going to get that today? I don't know. I mean, it's been pretty choppy already. Here's why. It already dipped below yesterday's low on the daily, and now we're back. We're just back in the range. That's it, right? So remember what we talked about here on the 15-minute chart. We're just looking for this move on up into like this range between 84 and 86. That was it. Okay, and that has unfolded. Right, so up here, and you could have traded. We talked about it in here when it was down. I don't know where it was, but it was a strong candle in here. Maybe it was 78, 79, something like that. So it's a good 6, 7 points, whatever. And it met your objective. You could even be done for the day with something like that. All right. So anyway, yeah. If this were a stronger trending day, like see this day. Now I know this was on Friday. Yeah, and we were in the webinar on that, and it was just like, wow, this is strong. However, we just didn't see some things in the order book and whatnot. I mean, we saw lots of liquidity getting filled on the offer on the way up, a lot. And I didn't see a lot of support in the book on the bid. So I was a little leery to jump into these into this move in here. Anyway, that said, to answer your question, Nicola, on the strong trending days, this is where you can consider holding some, take some off, and then holding some, and then even adding back in. Right, because you know it's trending, you know it's strong, you know there's a lot of buyers, and they're moving the market, and they're moving it to a different range. Okay, they're breaking out of a range, and you can look for your ATR. Okay, and you can scale in and out to your heart's content, looking for pullbacks, looking for high liquidity as profit taking, etc. High liquidity as profit taking is a pretty good bet. Because even on strong trending days, you'll note, look where it came to. High liquidity. Where did it pull back? High liquidity. Okay. Well, the pullback didn't, but it pulled back because of that high liquidity. And again, up in here. All right, so just a quick review talking about ranges and average true range, expectations, and trade management. And then reading these, and as Malik had said, looking for your specific areas in here. Morning, guys. I'm sorry, I kind of got on a rant here, and I missed some of the discussion over here in Discord. Sorry about that. Yep, good stuff, Kenji. Morning, Rob. Good morning, Hector. Is there an edge using Rithmic data versus others? Yeah, I think so. And our relationship with Rithmic is not monetary. It's just that we connect to their data. That is our relationship with them. Their data is excellent. It's the only one that has very well, it has MBO data and full depth of market. They were one of the first to offer any of that. And we still think at low level, very, very low frequencies, this data is very accurate. Okay. All right, guys, here we go. Here's our move. This is our move that we were looking for. And now see how this can play with you. Maybe you got stopped out here. And we'll cover this pattern in here in a minute. But how many times have we seen it? In fact, this is it right here. We put this line in here, and we were anticipating this move here. Well, it had to go one more, do a double bottom, and then you're getting the move now. Okay, beautiful move. Okay, did anyone start to think there or watch it and look at it in here, seeing this buying starting to pick up and look and getting involved in here? Anyone catch that? Okay, or anyone like buy in here and place your stop down below here. Now this move in here, this is really typical. You can anticipate this as a stop run here, and then a move back up above it like we did here. Okay, and then you capture this here as easy money at that point. And again, now we can look at our ATR. Let's copy this rectangle over here. All right, and let's move it to here. Okay, it's done it. It's done its move. Okay, it traded in a high liquidity along the way too. Okay, so now you have a reason for taking your profit. You have a reason also for maybe getting back in. Okay, looking for pullbacks to maybe here, 88. Maybe this volume cluster here, maybe wait for a deeper pullback, 86.5. Okay, thank you, trader. I can see you are answering Hector's question. McLoco, so good to see you in here. The CVD was calling for a breakout to the upside. Okay, excellent. Yeah, beauty. Yeah, it sounds like you like your CVD, and you know how I feel about it. Not the biggest fan. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I just don't like these kinds of indicators as much. You can just read it in here when those buyers start to come in. Okay, you can mark up exactly why it might pick up here because of this being trap volume and then looking for a stop run. This has got to be a huge stop run in here, at least at some point. And it is. You can see it. Right, it matches your CVD there. And we've got this move here. This is an interesting move. We've seen this many times over the years here. Stops and icebergs going together. And now actually you see some icebergs here selling. So is it profit taking? Maybe. Are they? It could be both profit taking and maybe positioning. Yeah, Luis, am I pronouncing that right? If you could just type it in there into how should I pronounce your name? It's been bothering me for a while. I don't want to call you just trader all the time. But anyway, yeah, examples of like liquidity again. This is contextual. Yeah, there's a wall. Is this first off? It's not a wall. It's high liquidity here, but it's again context. Look at the buying. They just ran right into it and through it. Like, yeah, they're getting filled. Sellers, 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 sellers. They're getting filled. There's just more aggressive buyers. Right? This is what to understand here. And now there's more buying pressure again. All right. Let's get another move up into maybe 95. What about half of this move? A lot of times your flag patterns, you can look at maybe half the move. So here, also like half a gap fill. That's why I'm mentioning it. Okay, so yeah, like maybe it's starting to wane in here. Look at the volume in here. Look at the volume over here, and look at the delta. Yeah, it's pretty strong. So yeah, I would still look for this to continue, but half a move would be up to 85. Maybe I'd take my profit there because I see that the volume is not quite as strong as it was previously. Maybe I'm measuring. This is it. Pull back. I'm still. It's a strong move. I'm still looking for it to continue. Yeah, I hope they can too as well, Tom. Offer in the think or swim version more. Be great. It's really out of our control. They're developing it. They've done a great job with it. Let's see, shadow. Are there any futures iOS apps we're expecting? No. I mean, you're using Bookmap on Mac, right? There you go, Ken. Yeah, so you switch to Rhythmic. Yeah, the Rhythmic data is really high quality features. All right, so McLocal, you were looking at your 84 level and all of that buying in here, maybe on your CVD. Let's take a quick look. All right, this could be helpful for people. Zoom in a bit. I don't see it. I don't know. I'm looking in the right areas in here. I mean, I know I see this selling here match with the move here, and then this buying in here, but I don't really see much divergence in here. Yeah, post a screen. That'd be great. All right. This one, I was expecting more out of this move here. There's the buying is pretty good. It's pretty strong. So I would anticipate this to come up into 894.95. It didn't. Okay. It's strong. You can look at the delta in here. So we know that there's buying pressure behind it, but just not. Didn't make it. Didn't make it up to that liquidity level. Okay, so then how do you manage this? Right? It didn't make your profit target. Well, if you got in like in one of these areas in here, right? Because you saw this buying in here. Oh, this is the at 90 maybe. Is it 84? Let's see here. Mountain time, so a couple hours. 10:30. Yeah, you're looking at this bump in here, and then this is yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's true for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm just, you never know when those aggressors will come in for me, and then move that market. So I really care about right here. Yes, all of this together, like volume profile, etc. But the here and the now, if all of a sudden like a ton of sellers come in, this is me. I'm not knocking your process because this worked out really nicely here to the upside. But yeah, just there. If there were more sellers in here, this CVD wouldn't matter. In fact, these guys would be trapped. We can get really nice moves to the downside here. But in this case, like there's just so much buying, so much buying, so much buying. This was the selling. A CVD did drop a little bit, came back, retested that area, and we don't have as much selling here. And then you can see that here kind of exhausts out on the sell side, and then we get our buyers coming in, and then the move higher. Okay, so it worked out. This little double bottom pattern here, we've been covering it for years. How can understand this as being a, a counter rotational move here with no follow through. Okay, you get leg 1 and leg 2 does not follow through. If this was going to turn into like a head and shoulders pattern, or some other kind of reversal pattern, then the follow through has to happen here at 82. I mean, yeah, maybe it rotates one more time and then comes back down and goes through, but it has to happen on the retest, one of the retests in here, and follow through to the downside. It didn't. It did what we kind of anticipated a little bit too early, was the trap volume below, getting back above, and then the move higher. But yeah, good stuff. Thanks, C Loco. Yeah, Kenji, again, the small caps have to be have a pullback at some point. It depends. I'd be very careful with that. But like, and if it is, it might be a pullback like this, a really shallow pullback. And what does this mean in here, right? Like this in here, this kind of all of these transactions and the order flow, the order book here. What does it mean in here? Well, that there's tons of buying, and that's it. Market just kind of takes a break here until time has gone by and it's finding lots of buyers again. Then you can look for that move. This is not really much of a pullback at all, and this can really understand this. I think it has helped me quite a bit understand. I mean, very easily or simply, it can help you understand flag patterns really well. But like also your trade management. Let's suppose that you're short in here. It's, oh, it did its measured move. I'm looking for a retracement way back down here. And you see this kind of behavior in here, get out of your trade. You're going to really get hurt because there's no sellers in here, or very few. There's some up here. And then there's very few in here, and it's going sideways. So once those buyers start to step in, you can get that continuation move here. And here we go again. Okay, we're above this little range here. Now it's actually kind of done. We can talk again about measured moves in here. It's kind of done it. Right? This is where the sellers came in and moved it in a little range back up to the top. Okay, we're going to get another one up to here. No, another rotation. The one thing about these measured moves and starting to understand these things in here, and understanding market structure. Today we have later today is John Slazas. He's an expert on market structure, and he's trading only crypto these days. However, you really should take a look over there. He has been trading futures for, I don't know, 30 or 40 years or something. Sorry, John, don't mean to age you, but you've been trading futures for a long time. You've been in the business for a long time. That is very rare to find in the crypto environment. And talk about market structure. He can really dig into the details. And then he looks at Bookmap, just like anybody, Tom or Doug or Algo Boys. Then they look at Bookmap to understand what's going on at their specific levels, just like Malik and him looking at his Camarilla floor trader pivot levels, and then look at Bookmap. Okay, selling coming in again. Okay, but we have not broken this level here. Let's see. Get back to some questions in here. Yeah, there you go, Captain Price. So you scratched out of your trade, uh, and probably due to something like this right in here, like we were just covering. Shadow, can we pull up prints from yesterday or history from any ticker? Not really. Okay, Doug. Yeah, you're using John's JS services numbers for the futures. Yeah, he's still doing that work, so you can use that as well. And you know, he has JS notes. He puts into a column in here, and he has his levels, very specific levels. He worked with us in with futures some years ago when Bookmap first came out. Yeah, McLoco. So yeah, you got your CVD and your divergence in there. Yeah. Uh, Again, it's I've just been burned so many times by it. To be honest, looking at your here you go. You got your higher highs and or you know, lower low here, higher low here, and you know that basically what this means in here, price is going down, but there's more buyers in this whole range in here. Okay, so but where do you have an edge? For me, it would be in here, right? I mean, looking at CVD here, and here at this point, I'd be looking for that move higher. But let's see, this is at 89. I think this is current price, right? Yeah. So yeah, it kind of did it. But it pulled all the way back here, and then it's coming back up again. I don't know. I'm just not. I can't do it. Something about it's just me. I like CVD. I've got nothing against it. I just think that I trust this more than I do this. Okay? I trust this context, understanding of the volume within that price structure than I do CVD. And that's really all it is. All right, guys, you know what? I think we're going to wrap it up early today. We covered the ranges and ATR and expectations and why these ranges unfold. And then we also covered about different trade management within it and the order flow, what the order flow should look like within some of these ranges in here for the potential moves. And then kind of matching that with expectations and risk management. So that we have something tangible to kind of lean on or understand, and something to as a foundation to study. And that's really what we're trying to do in here, is present all these ideas. The data is all here in Bookmap, so we can look at it in different ways and start to use this to build an edge for ourselves. Okay, so yeah, we'll cover something else on another day, and we'll go through. We've been covering a lot on delta, strong moves, etc., and expectations. Right. So let's go over just. We also talked about the bigger picture and how our expectations are in here. So you can see that we're above our 86 level, obviously. That was a strong move back up. Our next level here on this 15-minute chart might be around this 94.5 swing up here. Okay, maybe that's where we're going. But look at the move in here. Right, this is pretty strong. Right, now look at the expectation of this move though. Even on the hourly. Okay, so the hour just closed here at 11. This is my 11 o'clock candle here, East Coast time. So yeah, pretty strong move. Maybe a bit of a pullback, and maybe we can get a follow through with another strong move. Okay, so I would look for maybe a pullback just based off of this candlestick structure in here. Maybe the pullback will come to 84, 84.5, somewhere in our little zone here between 84 and 86, right? That's what we were looking for earlier. Well, here's where it would be then, our 85 level here. Okay, strong move, liquidity here, pull back to here, and you can still be bullish. All right. So if you want to trade it down to that level as well, you can. You can look for targeting some of that liquidity. Okay, I wouldn't be looking for that necessarily right now. Probably get another pullback to like here. Then maybe it'll exhaust out and we get the sellers coming in. We may get buyers back up above 89.5 and back up into here, and then we look for continuation right up to our 95, basically our 95 level, something like that. All right, guys, hit the like button if you can. We want to continue to give this kind of I think is higher quality education that can be helpful for you to kind of weave into your ways of trading. Why are the levels more clear? I'll tell you why, John. Why are they more clear on the stocks than in futures? Okay, it has to do with the way Bookmap, and this is a really great feature in Bookmap. First off, look at the price levels in here. The price levels in here, we're looking at a $200 stock in Tesla, over $200, so if we really have to zoom in here and look at just the spread in here, right? Now we're looking at each tick, which is a cent, right? Well, this is all over the place. Okay, well, in the S&P, here, look at that. These are it looks like huge moves, and it's not bad actually, but it's not a huge move. It's just that it's a big priced stock here. All right, so if we zoom in though, this looks more like the S&P. Okay, so that's but when I zoom out, look what it'll happen. It will blur these areas here with a Gaussian blur. So if I right click on here and go to heat map settings, it's the smoothing here that you can do it manually if you want, or you can have it as none. If I'd have it as none, it probably looks similar, a little bit more similar to the S&P E-mini. Okay, so or you can manually smooth it however you want. But see how when you start to blur that, and Bookmap will blur it in the auto mode, and it will just kind of blur all that high liquidity into an area. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is very simply the different players in different markets. Okay? You'll see these larger players come in and just park their orders in these areas here. This is where they want to be sellers, and they just wait. Futures is different. It's a little more dynamic. There's buyers and sellers coming in all the time. There are in your higher levels, you can see up here, similar to stocks. Okay? Different markets, different behaviors due to the instruments. All right, guys. Yeah, please hit the like button. Like I said, that is very helpful for us, and it'll help you as well. I think I heard Charles yesterday talk about this. Like, yeah, hit the like button. Not only does it help us, it helps you. If you like this content, then the YouTube algo will suggest this to you, and you'll get more of it, and that's helpful for you. And it doesn't, it's not, you know, doesn't cost you anything, or you're not leaving some sort of review or anything like that. Just helps to kind of show some that there's interest in this, and it can help other people, and it helps us to kind of understand what you guys like and don't like. Okay, so yeah, let's wrap it up. We'll call it a day. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you again on Friday. And tomorrow we'll have J Trader, Stocks Trader, and then on Thursday we have Scott Pulcini. Now, I just spoke with Scott. He will not be here, so likely then I will take the helm on Thursday. Okay, so Scott will not be there, and he has some time off. Okay, thanks everybody, and we'll catch up with you another time. Okay, bye-bye.